Welcome to the Just Life Podcast. Gritty, real, uncensored insights that will help you get your shit together on your journey of exploring and discovering what it takes to live your best life on your terms. Today's episode is a special one. 4 years in the making, as a matter of fact. I am going to talk a little bit about the vision of the future that me and a great group of people came together to explore back in 2017. The irony, of course, in all of that, having done that work to create a really great, inspiring future, was that we didn't really spend the time to share it. And a lot's happened over the last 4 years. In fact, that original group is nowhere near together in the same capacity that it was before, and we are all doing our version of making that vision of the future happen. And it rarely goes the way we think it's going to go. That's probably the biggest lesson that I've gotten so far out of doing this work. And so what I'm going to be doing on this episode is reading a vision of the future, the vision of the future that got created. I had spent some time on it to expand it and deepen it. You know, these metaphors and hyperbole, these abstract concepts. What do they actually mean? And not to have it clearly defined, but to start the process. I believe what was missing in the work that we had done, not only for ourselves, but for others, was to start the process of unraveling what those ideas and ways of being and these philosophies for a new operating system, what they actually could mean as lived in the real world. And so this is the start to that. Enjoy. The future. We all have one. The big difference lives between those who spend the time to create one to work towards instead of being at the effect of other people's ideas of how the future should go. A vision gives us passion, drive, and direction. Living in anticipation of a compelling future is a life worth living, as everything we do supports us in moving forward. They inform our priorities. They expand our horizons and harness our strengths. In 2017, a motley crew came together with a notion to bring more intentional effort to the creative process of creating a possible vision for the future of humans doing business. This vision has been sitting beside me since it was created. This was also done by design. We human beings are easily distracted, but it's not because of how chaotic our world of technology and notifications are. It's because we're actually wired for it. The wandering mind is just the way we function as human beings. Whether it's that trip, that sweet ride, or those eyes that you just can't get out of your head. So if being distracted is a mind game, then the processes we implement to stay focused is everything. Everybody ends up somewhere in life. Those who have a clear vision end up somewhere on purpose. We saw an open source global movement, helping build a world where everyone belongs with an equal access to abundance, committed to a foundation of respect and honoring the diversity of ourselves and others. We saw a department of empowerment, where differences and diversity became part of a new operating system and culture hub. We dreamed of a new richness built on creative innovation, and a world led by the vanguards of values, committed to communicate the truth and step into their role as they shift and disturb our automatic ways of being. Nothing missing, whole and complete, where our sense of belonging is served by human connection and our development as a collective, from a mutual responsibility to a whole wellness. A collective and personal ownership fuels our commitment to deliver on a new ROI, with leaders leading the charge to prioritize personal well-being by working with their people towards uncovering the source of true personal fulfillment, and where trustworthiness is built through storytelling, not selling. an abundance matrix that supports doing business for good, from a technology treehouse connected at the core and foundational to driving workability through a new worldview. So that was a summary of the dream in its entirety. Now, there are 5 elements, and so I'm going to speak to each of them a bit more deeply, what they represent and mean as actions to take in the real world. The first one is classified under media and communications. Effectively, anything that builds reputation and influence, the actions that you're taking out in the world and how you're being perceived by said actions. Each of these elements have a gap, right? There's a start and an end that we are looking to experience. We call it the missing link. And this one, for media and communications, is moving from the clever and complex cloak of covert control to the simple growing under the light of human sense. As I break it apart and deepen it, just pay attention to what it is that comes up in your mind. How are you seeing this vision of the future unfolding? What are those steps looking like? What are those actions taken? And can you see it happening for yourself? Through our ideas, notions, and aspirations, we bring complexity and confusion. Over time, we embrace how we've done it as how it always was, forgetting how simple things really can be. Our true power lives inside of the freedom and choice to be, not what we've constructed over time, but what makes sense now in this moment. What got us here was never meant to get us there, and so the opportunity of adventure and exploration awaits. Not to find more of what we already know and understand, but to uncover the new and the unfamiliar in what's next. You only think there is nothing new because you've seen all you need to see in the current paradigm of your being. Your body does not stop its need to quench its thirst, and you cannot drink the same glass of water twice. Yet the arrogance of man, thinking we have arrived, is the same as thinking that we can live life without filling the cup again. To think there is nothing else is the absolute truth we trap ourselves in. There is always something new to experience if we are awake and listening. And when that happens, say hello to those you've never seen before. For we are your partners in disruption, the vanguards of value and the stewards of human sense who see that not all is as it seems. And that the simple truth is that nothing we understand or believe to be absolutely true actually is. How exciting then to seek clarity for clarity's sake, not to just live in the finality of what you see. A new richness to life in the future, where curiosity fuels creativity, revealing that which gives you meaning and purpose, and the freedom to live a life inside of a world worth living and contributing to. This is not the truth, but a possible future, and it is what you make of it. So free yourself of the tools of perceived control. They only exist if you believe them to be true. As a marketing communications agency at the time of crafting this vision, it was very timely for us in how we supported our clients to ensure that we weren't just doing things for the sake of doing things because industry and status quo dictated that that was what you did. Instead, we were more interested in supporting our clients and pushing boundaries, pushing back against what they knew to be true, and explored areas that they hadn't considered before. This isn't easy work. It's very hard work to do, and then it takes a certain type of individual and group of people to be willing to explore that which you've not explored before. This segues into the second area, which lives inside of leadership and social impact, the difference that you're making, and just how subtle leadership can be as it influences what we say we can do versus what we need to do. Moving from containing, restraining, and castrating creation to a world of wellness in wholeness, which is manifesting miracles. There are pieces missing, That idea, moment, or experience that is always just out of reach or goes as quickly as it comes. These moments hold you in perpetual suspension as you attempt to find it again, leaving you waiting in anticipation so you're ready to catch it when it returns, only to find yourself distracted by another moment and missing your opportunity again. But you reconnect to the commitment you committed to, so you might in fact be ready for it next time. In the meantime, you're missing the moments happening right now. A sense of disconnection is emerging, but you push through and tough it out despite being so tired by what continues to live just out of reach. Reach out. You are not alone, and you are not meant to explore this world alone. Free yourself from the trap and embrace what's possible when you connect yourself back to the integral human roots of community. At your source lives the truth of what's so for you and for your future. Pay no attention to the narrative that is holding you back. Push through and loosen that grip that holds you so tightly and keeps you contained and restrained. Download the new opportunity operating system. So what do I mean by that? Well, maybe you relate to this. I gotta figure it out on my own. I gotta put in the hard work. Nobody else gets me. Nobody else understands what it is that I'm up to, so I just gotta do it alone. And if you notice, that's a pattern you've been living in for a very long time. I would say a large majority of us humans being and doing business operate in that capacity. But when we look at those that are really making a difference, the leadership and the teams that they're leading are so tightly woven and connected that they are almost of same mind. Well, it is at that level of connected, creative collaboration where the real restraining and castration of creation gets lifted, where we are emerging together in a wholeness that is manifesting true miracles for what's possible for the future, because we're coming together aligned with our purpose and our direction to do the work, and our leaders are showing the way. And what better environment but the environment of culture and places where that can be intentionally nurtured and grown, moving from the cocooned cubicles and departments of compartments to a matrix of interconnected cores at the source of abundance. We seek purpose. We want to matter, and we want to know that our contribution is doing its part in moving the human race forward. Yet, we are subjugated and told our opinions are not welcomed and do not matter, further perpetuating the inner narrative that we don't matter. But we do. And we need places that bring the conversations out of the dark corners of our minds and into the light of human sense. We need people who are brave enough to keep these conversations going, even when the internal chatter is saying otherwise. Worldwide workability is a vision that lives in our views of what's possible, and technology is the catalyst. Look at what's happened over the last 20 years. Technology. It has become our primary and critical medium of communication, and in so doing has brought to light many things that before would not have been brought to light. Therein lay its strength and, of course, its weakness. If it is used for good, we see the opportunity for growth and for improvement and how to change things. If we see the opposite opportunity, we see ways in which to manipulate, coerce, and control. But that is nothing new, simply a way in which human beings have operated for a millennia. And so therein lay our opportunity to change how it's always been done, in order to do something and to achieve that which we've not achieved before. A worldwide workability is in progress, whether you believe it to be true or not. Our technology has bridged the divide. Our ability to communicate seamlessly and almost instantly to anybody has become just how things operate. And our new generation, there are no borders. There is nothing stopping us from having conversation and building relationship with those who would have been before impossible to achieve. And our next generation is doing that with ease. They are the ones who see what's possible for the future. They are the ones who are acting on said actions to take. They will be the ones who the intergenerational wealth will be passed down to and who will take different action. Actions that we have not yet seen before when it comes to the context of doing business and what it takes to be profitable and make a positive impact. Moving from straight line, bottom line, mainlining of profit and patents to weaving the fabric of collective wealth that feeds and fulfills. Our organizations don't just have stakeholders, but are key stakeholders of our global future. And we are pushing for you to step up and take action in new ways. We want to hear what you're doing to meet the broader aspirations of society, not what you're selling. To be stewards of humanity and life. To be a catalyst for change, not another product for profit. And we want to be part of that solution. The story of our future lives inside of a new business model for collaborative creation where we invest time, energy, and attention into strengthening the foundations of being human as we perform, explore, and innovate into an emerging and highly disruptive future. Wealth, our well-being, is the new ROI. I've had the opportunity to bring many through this process and have really appreciated being part of creating what's next. Not just for their businesses, but in creating a deeper context for the broader reason for the existence of the enterprise, the crossroads between ideals and execution. Each of us get to look at what our version of that future looks like, and then to invest our attention into bringing awareness of that possible future, leading and nurturing our people along the way, and shifting how business is done so that it fits within that new future. We've achieved much, and we have a lot of work to do. The question to ask yourself is, what are you working towards? And if you're unclear, then reach out.